it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today is episode 22 of the Maggie Holmes Monday series that I have been doing, and I am using carousel again. I actually had this collection out from the layout that I shared previously, so episode 21. And because the collection was out and I was working with it, I thought, you know what, let's just do an extra layout. I do like to do that actually. I like to create with the same collection more than once because I feel like I'm in the zone of it. So the second page tends to come together a little more quickly than the first one. Anyway, side note, carousel I am using, and I have a bit of a plan for this one. I had a bunch of these words that I had fussy cut from a pattern paper, and I wanted to use those as a bit of a background, a bit of a base, a bit of an embellishment, kind of something a bit different for the background of my page. Oh yes, and I did forget to mention that a couple of these elements were actually puffy stickers from the puffy sticker sheet. But they happen to be very similar font, very similar size, so I thought that I could easily mix and match them, and they would work together really well. Okay, so I did want to keep a lot of this footage in so that you could see how it all came together. I have sped it up quite fast though, just so the video wasn't too long. And for me, creating a layout like this is really fun because it's like a puzzle, I guess. It's taking a bunch of separately cut elements, so the little, what are they, arrows, and the words, and then trying to piece them together in a way that they nestle in against each other. So see how the I in magical sits up inside under the M in moments, and then in a moment the happy will, the top of the H in happy, see how that nestles in beside the G? That's the plan. Like, that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking to place the pieces. I'm also thinking about the colors. I want to make sure that I'm spreading, say, the yellow. Yellow is really popping here, so I don't want all of the yellow pieces side by side, which is why I changed out that yellow flag for the pink flag there. I want to check that, there's a lovely mix of the colors and that there's a lovely mix of the shapes. And I also want to be mindful that the outside edge of this background that I'm kind of creating here is interesting. I have talked about this before. If you imagine drawing a line around just the outside edge of this whole big piece, so down the side of the M's in moment and magical, and then the H, and then down past the Y, along that bottom edge where the banners are, I want that shape to be very interesting. I don't want any of the words or elements to line up. I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm going for. It's a bit of a trick because I want it to look like it's just sort of fallen there and it's very casual and it's just like little layers of things piled on a page, but obviously it is very placed. Okay, so onto my photos, and I am working with 2 3x4 photos for this layout. I am going to pop them up onto a very small mount. This is just a piece of scrap paper from that same collection. And then I'm going to nut out their position. So I know that they want to go on the right, but I'm not entirely sure. Especially at this point, I'm not sure about that journaling spot, that blue one there. I'm feeling like it's a bit heavy compared to all the other elements that I have already positioned. So I do end up switching that out for another of these little banner pieces. And what I'm going to end up doing is, again, sort of nestling those photos into what I already have happening. So super happy with how that's looking. I have actually also taken it away and added stitching with my sewing machine. I stitched around the edge of the photos in the way that I normally do, the edge of the layout that I normally do that too. And then just for a little bit of added detail and to try and pull the page together even more, I've stitched little rows through the banner pieces and through each of the words there. Okay, so onto the embellishing, and I am going to use a couple of elements from the sticker sheet, including the little bunny there and the roller skate. I do have a quick look through the die cut ephemera that I have. I mentioned this last video, it's giant. I've been really struggling. I do find a couple of pieces that I can add into my paper layers, and I do go with that deep blue banner piece that says Delightful Day. That one does end up on the page. And, looking at it now, I do get quite a few stickers. I do get those 2 puffy words. I get the fussy cut words. Lots of bits and pieces do end up on the layout. So got to be happy with that. I am finding that with this particular collection, as I get fewer and fewer pieces, it's becoming really hard to work with. I think because when it was new, and I do find this for other collections too, actually, when it's new and you have the full collection, obviously you're going to have your favorite elements and you tend to draw on those. You choose those first, they get on layouts really easily. And then as you get towards the end of the supplies, you're kind of left with all the rejects, all the bits that you weren't really drawn to immediately, or maybe that might be larger or might be in a color that you don't normally work with. So you're left with kind of the bits that you didn't choose. So the deeper you go into your stash, I think, for me anyway, the harder it is for me to use what's left. And I do kind of feel like I'm getting to that point with this collection, probably even more so now that I've finished these last 2 layouts and I have no 12 by 12 pattern papers left at all, like no borders. I've got the pad, which has the very small prints in it, and then a bunch of giant embellishments. So we'll see. I don't know whether I'll be making any more layouts with this collection. Time will tell. Let me know below if that's you too, like if you feel that that's how you work as well. I'd love to know. Things are getting serious though, because the things are getting stuck down. Just securing a little element here underneath the bottom photo. I'm really just going for paper layers and some, little details to make the layout interesting. I have popped all of the stickers up on 3D foam tape just for some added dimension. I do like this one. It comes from Bunnings, which is a hardware store here in Australia. It's actually not super thick foam. It's a bit thinner, and I really like that it is a little bit thinner. So the little roller skate, it ends up down in the left here, and I do find this sweet little tent icon, which I am going to add towards the top. It nestles in there above the word moment really nicely, so I love that. It is also the perfect color because it is blue. So I now have the blue tent, the darker blue Delightful Day banner piece on the bottom there, and then the word fun, it's also blue. And I feel like that kind of rounds out that sort of color tone. Oh, the little tag too on the right of the photo and at the top, on the top edge of the top photo, they're blue. So I feel like, it just balances everything out really nicely. The yellow is sort of spread around the page, and now there's also green spread around the page, with the green being in Tinkerbell's little dress there. So to finish up, what I am going to do is add in a couple of those type sentiments that I found when I was creating the last layout. So these ones say, happy day, cutest thing ever, and these moments. And I feel like they work really well here too, because they're, again, a little bit of a smaller element to balance out the embellishments. And they run, all of these background pieces, they're really running horizontally. And I feel like that just kind of adds to that sort of element. It adds to that horizontal feel to the layout. The photos are also horizontal. So yeah, I'm loving how all that's coming together. I'm also going to totally break my own rule. I often don't like putting gold with yellow. Don't know why. It's perfectly fine, but I generally don't do it. But I found these sweet little hearts. They are Maggie Holmes hearts. There was a bag of them that had so many hearts, so it's taken a long time to use them all up. And I do get quite a few on the page, and I feel like they're kind of like a little sprinkling, the same way that you would use maybe sequins, or if you were a mixed media gal, you would use paint splatters. So I'm going to sprinkle them around the page, and I'm going to call this layout done. Now, I did also want to let you know that this could very well be one of the last shares for Maggie Holmes Monday for this year. I might get one more in. We'll have to wait and see. I will be having December off, but they will be back next year. I love this series. I have so loved diving into my Maggie stash, and you all know that I have so much more to use up. So there will be more of these videos in 2022 for you all. Thank you for sharing your creative time with me today. If you like the way that I scrapbook, or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you'd give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all next time. Bye.